Camera collecting is a great hobby, but it can have its pitfalls. If you aren't careful, you begin to lose room in the house because you have collected so many cameras. I haven't quite got to that stage, but I've almost got to that stage. So I try to limit myself now, if from a collecting point of view, of collecting British cameras and Nikon. I will buy other cameras, but I will normally buy them just to test them and do them for this channel. This camera, I had bought the same model a few years ago, and unfortunately it had a severe problem and I couldn't actually put a film into the camera. So when I found this in an antique shop in Corfe Castle about a month ago, I was really delighted, because what we've got is an Ensign 820 special. The 820 means we get 8 images on a 120 film. This would have been this wasn't top of the Ensign range, but it was getting towards the top. The top camera was a auto range, I've talked about that before. That had a coupled rangefinder. This isn't a coupled, but it does have a rangefinder. A rangefinder enables you to find out the distance for focusing. So let's have a look at this camera. One of the issues with the Ensigns is they used a plastic which becomes very brittle, and I have had this on numerous Ensigns where the red window for the film has become so brittle it's broken. So you can undo these little screws in here, take this off and carefully replace the red, which I've done with a bit of red plastic film. Now, the bit of the camera on my old camera which didn't work was this was really stiff and I couldn't get a spool into the camera. Now both sides are fine. So on each side you have got little flaps, and there's one there, and that will then turn this into 120 size, 6x6. The only problem is you've got the lens is a 105 lens, so it's a little bit like a telephoto, but so as I said, you can put these flaps over, and then you would use this numbering here and you'll get 12 on the film. But let's talk about how to actually use the camera. You have here a scale for the rangefinder. So you look through the viewfinder, you will see a double image, and you bring the two images together and that will tell you how many feet the distance is. So let's say I'm focusing over there, I bring the two together and that gives me 10 feet, and then I would set the lens to 10 feet. The aperture is on the side here. It's from 3.5, so it's quite a fast lens. This is a really good quality. The Ross Express lens is a really fine lens. I can set my aperture there, my shutter speed here, I've set it to 100. You have to manually pull this lever down there. So I've set my focus, got my shutter speed, set my aperture. Then finally I can press and then ride on to number 2 in the red window. Not only was I delighted by the condition of this camera, but in its little pocket here was a lens cap, which is very, very useful. Not lens cap, lens hood. So that will protect the lens from flare, and we have a yellow filter as well. And because black and white film is the predominant film that would have been used for this camera, and a yellow filter brings out the clouds. Where if you've got a blue sky, it makes the blue a bit darker and just brings the sky out. So I was quite excited about using this camera. The only downside is the 6x9 size. Well, while it's a lovely big negative to give good detail, you don't get many photographs on a film. According to the Little Blue Book, the Wallace Heaton book of 1956, I thought I would have a look at the auto range and the camera I'm actually talking about, the 820, its official name, I got wrong at the beginning of this video, is the Selfit 820 Special. And here we are there. The auto range and the Selfit Special. The Selfit Special is uncoupled rangefinder and viewfinder combined. Epson shutter 1 second to 1/250, fully synchronized, ROS Express 3.8 coated lens for a ground price of £29, 17 shillings and 8 pence. Which, let's just find out what that would be in today's money. So that camera in today's terms would be £633. This is interesting because a good digital camera nowadays is around £600-700 easily, a good camera. So yes, you could buy that camera now for about £80-90, but in today's money, if you were, that's how much the camera is worth today, but interesting to see that price comparison. But did it work? What were the images like? Let's find out. I was not disappointed with this camera. Of course, with the 6x9 format, you have got a very large negative, so the quality is good. And this lens, as I said, is a nice, really nice lens. And maybe it's not as razor sharp as some modern lenses, but it's got a really nice quality with it. And with the added bonus of having this yellow filter, it really meant that the clouds could pop more. And here's colorized version that I did in Photoshop, which is a bit over the top, but it's a bit of fun. I really like using this camera. It's just a bit frustrating that you only get 8 images on a film. These are the 8 hatches on the River Frome near Dorchester. And here is a similar view as just before, but again the clouds have popped a little bit more on this one. It'd be quite interesting what would happen if you used a red filter. I'm definitely going to keep this camera. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.